Hello, welcome back to Big W BBQ. Today we're going to be smoking up a pork loin. I hope you guys are having a great start to your Labor Day weekend. This is one of my favorite times of the year. We got fall right around the corner, football starting up, and this is the best time to start grilling more. Although our days of summer are limited, there are still plenty of days left to get out and do some barbecuing. So before we get started here, I want to talk a little bit about this cut of meat. So I've got a center cut pork loin. There are probably two main cuts of meat when people hear the term pork loin. You've got the tenderloin, which is going to be a lot smaller and more tender, hence the name. And then you've got the center cut loin here, which is going to be larger and probably more popular, I'd say. If you're curious as to where this cut of meat comes from on the pig, as you'll see here in the diagram, it's actually on the back side, just above the famous baby back ribs. There are two main alternatives that you may come across this cut of meat in the grocery store. You could have, the more popular is the boneless one, or you could have the bones where the ribs are actually attached to the meat as well. Either one works. I just happen to have a boneless one. What's nice about smoking up pork loin is that it is relatively easy to prepare, as well as there's a lot of different ways that you can eat it in the end. So let's go ahead and start preparing the loin. So we got a fat cap up top here, and for the most part we're going to leave this here. I'm just going to trim up a little bit just to kind of make it a little less thick there. It will render down a little bit in the cook, but since we're only going to be cooking it for a couple hours here, a whole lot of it doesn't cook down. For the most part, the grocery stores do a pretty good job of getting off most of the fat there, so probably shouldn't have to do a whole lot of trimming. All right, that looks pretty good here. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a little scoring up top here in the fat cap, just to kind of give the rub a little bit place there to settle down into while it cooks. Okay, that should be pretty good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to, I'm going to use yellow mustard today. You can use olive oil or whatever you want. If you don't want to use anything, that's fine too. I'm just using the yellow mustard there to give the rub something to adhere to. So let's go ahead and add that. And go ahead and add whatever your favorite rub is. All right, we got the rub on the loin. So now what we're going to do is, so this is a totally optional step. I'm actually going to use some butcher twine here, and I'm going to wrap it around. The reason why I'm doing this is strictly for presentation. This is going to help round up the loin. I don't know if you've ever seen it or not, but typically at a restaurant, you'll see a nice, pretty symmetrical piece of meat there. So that's kind of what we're going to go for here. Like I said, totally don't have to do it. It'll kind of cook the way that it sets on the grates, so you can kind of mold it a little bit while it's there without any twine, and it'll turn out just fine. But yeah, just an extra added touch, I guess. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. So there's kind of two main ways to do this. The simplest way is just to get, probably around an 8 to 10 inch piece of string here. I'm going to cut that and make multiples of those, and then we're just going every couple inches go ahead and tie that up just to give that round look there. The other alternative is to use what I believe is called a butcher net, and basically it's just going to be using one continuous string all the way through. The nice part about that is you don't have to cut it so many times, but either way it works out. So whatever you prefer. So if you want to make this netting here, all you got to do is you just got to make a little bit of a loop, twist it, and then reel it over the back side here. And then you're just going to pull this tight here. Just make your little loop here, and twist your upper hand, bring it over the back side, and pull it tight. Then once you get all the way down to the end here, we're just going to roll it over to the side. Come right back down the center. You're just gonna go right under the first one here, pull your string all the way through. Keep repeating the process all the way down. Just come to this end here, flip it back over. Should have a little excess here at your first knot. Just gonna go ahead and tie it off. And that's it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go rinse off my hands. I'm gonna top off a little bit of rub, and then I'll be right back here with you. Alrighty, should be all set here. So before we take this out to the grill, let's talk a little bit how we're gonna be cooking this. I'm gonna be cooking this out in the Weber Smokey Mountain. We're gonna have a pit temperature of around 225 to 250. I'm gonna be using apple wood as the smoke, and it kind of varies here on the size of the loin. As you may have you can tell here, I actually purchased a full loin, and then I had them cut it in half here, just primarily for portion size. So yeah, so this it started out at about 8.5 pounds. So this is probably just over 4 pounds if I had to guess. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and put that out in the smoker. Probably take around 2 hours or so. I am going to be looking for an internal temp of 145 degrees. One of the downfalls with loin is it's pretty easy to dry out if you're not too careful there. So about 145 degrees, we're gonna bring it back inside, wrap it in tin foil, let it rest for 15-20 minutes, and then we should be ready to eat. So let's go ahead and get the smoker ready. We're back inside now. Took about 2 hours to reach our 145 internal temp, and at that point I brought it in, wrapped it in tin foil, and it's been sitting here for about 15 to 20 minutes or so. So the reason why we're doing that is just to let the juices reabsorb. Anytime you're cooking with a large piece of meat like that, if you cut it too soon, you lose a lot of moisture. It just kind of tends to dry out there. So yeah, let's go ahead and unwrap it and let's carve it up. First observations here, we got some really good color here. It smells terrific as well. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and cut off your twine here if you had any. All right, let's go ahead and start carving. And that looks good. I don't know if you can tell on the camera or not, but we've got a lot of moisture here. Perfect there. Let's go ahead and sample it. It's very juicy. That's perfect. Exactly how I like it there. Yeah, I've got a good smoke flavor. We got a little bit of a smoke ring around here, so that's good. And yeah, it just kind of pulls right apart there, and man, that's good stuff there. So yeah, everything turned out well. So there are many ways that you can eat this loin here. The most popular ways are probably going to be either in a sandwich or just go ahead and cut it up and eat it as is. Either way, you won't be disappointed. So yeah, if you're going to be using this meat for sandwiches primarily, I'd recommend go ahead and cut the slices pretty thin. It normally works out a little bit better there. But if you're going to be eating it just plain as is, you can get a little bit bigger chunks there. So yeah, whatever your preference is, can't go wrong with the pork loin. Thanks so much, guys, for spending a little bit of time here with me and watching this video. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you. Also, how do you like to eat your pork loin? If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up on the video, as well as consider subscribing or liking us on Facebook. Keep your eye out next week for a new video, where we're going to be smoking up the other half of this loin. However, instead of doing what we did today, we're going to be giving it a little bit of a variation that you definitely don't want to miss. Until then, I hope you have a great Labor Day weekend with both your families and friends. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you in the next one.